This is how I stay warm and cook with wood off the grid. It's 0 degrees in March. I go outside and position my tire on my wood stump. I get my splitting axe called a maul and I grab a few pieces of wood that are dry, seasoned, and the right size to go inside my stove. I start to chop the wood. I'm only about 120 pounds, so sometimes it takes me a few chops to split the wood stump. I make a line going up and down on the piece of wood, and usually on my 3rd or 4th chop it splits. I put the wood inside my carrier and bring it into my stove. Come back for part 2 to see how I feed the fire, use the stove, and cook. Bye! This is how I stay warm and cook off the grid. In part 1, I chopped my wood and used my carrier to bring it inside. I take the wood pieces and put them on the wood shelf for storage. If my wood is a little wet, it's okay, because it'll dry out next to the fire. And then I feed the fire using this glove to stay safe, since every part of the fire and wood stove is blisteringly hot. I can control the intensity of the fire by closing these circular dampeners at the bottom and closing the door handle. Dampeners closed mean less air coming in, which makes a cooler fire, but the wood lasts longer. Dampeners open means more air coming in, creating a hotter fire, which eats wood faster. The top of the wood stove is always hot, so I can cook on it whenever I want. Today I'm making egg fried rice in my wok. I read the comments, so give me a fun comment or question to help me in my next video. Bye! Welcome back. In part 1, we pumped the water and chopped the wood. I bring the wood inside and carefully put it inside the wood stove. This will enlarge the fire and make it great for cooking. The top of the wood stove is always scalding hot, so when I put the teapot on, it boils very fast. I put the coffee beans into my hand grinder and get a workout grinding over and over until the beans turn into powder. I add the powder to my French press, pour the boiling water inside, and let the coffee steep. When the coffee is brewed, I push the handle down, then add milk I made, honey, and some cinnamon spice. In the cold, wet forest, this is the best way to start my day. Here's how I take a hot jacuzzi on a cold November 1st day in my hippie hot tub off the grid. I start about 2 hours in advance by choosing my favorite axe and walk out to cut the wood. During the summer, when it was warmer and drier, I stored all the wood under this little cabin I built. I throw out enough logs to heat up the hot tub water and place them inside this old tire so they won't fly everywhere when I chop them. I use my axe to chop them up to the appropriate size, then head over to the special wood stove. This wood stove has fire in the front and water in the back. I put the wood inside the fire chamber and blow on the fire to get the heat as high as possible. The wood stove pulls cold water in through the bottom pipe and pushes hot water back inside the tub through the top pipe. Sometimes my breath is not enough, so I use this copper pipe which helps focus my breath at the coals. That's all the time we have for part 1. Click on part 2 to see if it works. Bye! This is how I start my day and make coffee off the grid. I wake up in my yurt early to take care of my baby and make sure breakfast is started. I grab my teapot and walk outside. It's 5 degrees below 0 today. I walk out into the forest and hopefully don't come across any bears, cougars, or wolves. They are everywhere. I get to my water pump, which pumps water as fresh and healthy as a natural spring. I pump it over and over to bring up the water. Once the water shoots out, I fill my pot and head back inside to boil the water. I grab my favorite axe and chop the wood into a few pieces, which then go into my fire sling. I bring the wood inside and carefully put it inside the wood stove. Come see what happens in part 2. Bye! This is how I make wood-fired pizza in the forest off the grid. I first put the tire on the big stump to keep the wood in one place. I choose my favorite axe. This one is handmade from Sweden. I choose the right piece of wood. Chopping wood is such a good workout. I bring the wood over to the brick and clay oven I made and build a tower like a tic-tac-toe shape. Using small kindling at the bottom, the fire lights up easily. I bring down the pizzas. Whoa, I stepped on the electric bear fence. Good thing it's off at the moment. This is going to be so delicious. The fire has been raging for an hour and the oven is now over 1,000 degrees. Time to put in the pizza. This tool is a pizza peel, and the cornmeal on the bottom prevents the dough from sticking. Here's how my fiance Jake does it. The wood and the fire add so much flavor to our pizza. The pizza is done in less than 3 minutes, and we rotate it with the pizza peel to cook the crust evenly. This pizza is definitely a 9.8. I wonder if the smell will attract bears and cougars.